Dark Souls 2 is heralded as one of the most difficult titles in the Dark Souls franchise. Just try not to die that much and you will be fine. Our first advanced tip and trick is to use every direction of our control stick while we're rolling. That magic is the hardest way to play Dark Souls? Again, you're contradicting yourself. What's going on here? This is just wrong. So I thought that we'd try a different style video for today. I've seen a lot of videos pop up around YouTube about debunking some gaming journalism websites and just how bad they like to interpret things with like really minimal research. For example, Shuffle FM did a great video about the Darkest Dungeon classes, and Swag Kage did some great videos about the Naruto tier lists that are actually terrible. So I was thinking to myself, man, I wonder if there's any websites that really just butcher some Dark Souls articles, and what I found was yikes. So today we've got 4 Screen Rant articles. Is it 4? I think it's 4. Yeah, we got 4 Screen Rant articles written about Dark Souls series, and they're something to behold. I've very briefly read over them, and honestly, I don't know what the writers were thinking when they wrote these. So yeah, we're gonna kind of just laugh at Screen Rant today. So I thought a good way to start this off would be some nice beginners tips and tricks to survival. Some Dark Souls 2 beginners tips and tricks to survival. We'll start off with some beginner stuff. I'll kind of read through this. We'll kind of highlight the real main, the real juice, the sauce of the article, if you know what I'm saying. So starting off, the infamous Dark Souls 2 is one of the most difficult games ever made, and this guide will teach players on how to survive the brutal experience. Okay, so like, if your first game in the Soul series is Dark Souls 2, I can see how you would think that it's one of the most difficult video games ever made. I don't think everybody would necessarily agree with that, but like, sure, why not? Dark Souls 2 is heralded as one of the most difficult titles in the Dark Souls franchise. No? Keep in mind, this was written in 2020. As a show of hands in the comments, how many people would choose Dark Souls 2 as the most difficult in the franchise? Not to shit on Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 is a fantastic game. It has its own parts where it's difficult, but like the most difficult in the I'm pretty sure Dark Souls 2 has a bad rap for being the easiest title in the Dark Souls franchise. I don't think that this, I don't think we're off to a good start here with this sentence. This doesn't bode well for the rest of the article. What makes the game so difficult is the vast amount of mechanics and systems that a player's required to learn and memorize. Okay, are you referencing Dark Souls in general or just Dark Souls 2? Because Dark Souls 2 doesn't have that many mechanics to memorize to actually beat the game. Of course, you could simply power your way through the entry, but your success will be varied. What does this mean? You could simply power your way through the entry, but your success will be varied. What does that mean? I don't know what this is. Okay. We'll provide some important tips in order to learn and master the vast amount of mechanics in Dark Souls 2. Okay. All right, pick a class. Okay, so help in picking a class in Dark Souls 2. The cleric excels in magic-oriented stats, while the bandit focuses more on strength weapon. Wait, does the bandit excel in strength, or do they excel? I thought the bandit in this game excels in dexterity. Yeah, no, I just looked it up. The bandit excels in dexterity weapons. So what strength weapon? Are you thinking of Dark Souls 1 bandit? Bandit in Dark Souls 1 excels at strength. Bandit in Dark Souls 2 is a dex build. It's the Dark Souls 2 equivalent of hunter. Okay, and cleric excels in magic-oriented stats. I guess if you're just referring to faith as magic, sure, whatever. Best advice on deciding a class, if you're unfamiliar with the series, is to choose the knight class. Okay, that's not terrible advice, I guess. Allows a player to develop into a strength build. The knight allows room for dexterity builds. Okay, so that's not terrible advice to pick the knight. That's not absolutely awful. Hold on, wait. This isn't Dark Souls 2, this is Dark Souls 1. This is not the Dark Souls 2 menu. There's a huge amount of different sets in the Dark Souls series. Okay, why did you show a Dark Souls 1 menu? Like, what? Did you use the wrong picture? Okay. The vast array of different stats can seem like gibberish to a new player, and truthfully, the different effects can be muddled through the complicated menu of the game. However, with some explanation, guidance, the effects of each stat will become intuitive and simple. That's fair enough, fair enough. Understanding the hollow mechanic of Dark Souls 2. Yes, the infamous "you died" screen. No matter how skilled a player is, death is a reality within these games. Unless you're one of those guys that does the no-hit trilogy runs. The more you die, the more often you will die. That's an interesting way to put it, I guess. The only true way to manage the wait, so how does a player combat this mechanic? The only true way to manage the hollowing mechanic is the implementation of a cautious and careful playstyle. Just try not to die that much, and you will be fine. A more realistic advice would be, wait. So your beginner's tip to combat the hollowing mechanic was, just don't die. I don't know how much of a tip that is. Stock up on human effigy items during the course of the game. Having a steady supply of these items. Okay, but that's it? How? Okay, you can't just realistically have a constant flow of human effigy items. Like, that's not... They're pretty limited, like, as far as finding those. Like, there are ways to farm them, but even still, they're a pretty limited resource. And just don't die is certainly an interesting take on how to get through the game. Maybe try saying, like, I don't know, try to only use human effigies if you know you're coming up on an important section. Like, don't bother using human effigies all the time. Like, if you're backtracking through an area, don't use human effigies. Or if you're just like item hunting, don't use a human effigy. If you're fighting a boss, use a human effigy, you know, something like that. Other than just have a steady supply. Like, steady supply in Dark Souls 2 just equates to always making progress. And you don't always make progress in these games. That's just... Okay, so I guess this article is not that bad, but like, there's some questionable stuff about it. Okay, so I guess from here, we go to Dark Souls Remastered Advanced Tips and Tricks. Now, I don't know if you know me. If anything, I'm known for my Dark Souls Remastered abilities. So, some advanced tips and tricks on Dark Souls Remastered. I imagine that there's going to be some pretty big brain gameplay stuff brought up that I'll be able to elaborate on maybe a little bit. This guide will provide players with essential tips to improve their gameplay and establish themselves as quality Dark Souls players. All right, I'm looking forward to it. I don't think rolling is that okay, roll proper. Okay, what do we mean by properly rolling? Many new players tend to roll backward when facing enemy. This is an understandable response. When fighting a tough enemy, you want to roll away from the creature and get some space and heal. However, this is one of the worst ways to use the roll function. What? Many attacks in Dark Souls possess incredibly range and forward advancing movement. That is why rolling backwards more often than not lead to players getting absolutely destroyed by strong enemies. I'm trying to think of enemies in Dark Souls 1 where rolling backwards is going to get you destroyed, and I'm not really thinking of a lot. I know Smo has his hammer charge. I might be dumb, but that's the only real attack I can think of where rolling backwards is a bad idea. Am I dumb? No, that's... Okay, even still, like, okay, hold on. Okay, so maybe okay, so this is a controller, right? So our advanced tip is to take this controller, right? And to not do just this, right? But instead of just going backwards, our first advanced tip and trick is to use every direction of our control stick while we're rolling. I don't think that that's a advanced tip. I think that's pretty basic to be okay, I don't know how advanced of a tip that is, but I mean, sure. Second tip, Matt. What? It's finding the right one not only increase your enjoyment, but your success. One of those popular weapons is strength weapons. From pyromancy to standard magic and moving from pyromancy to standard magic and moving the faith abilities, the magic weapons and techniques have varying styles. For players looking to adopt the magic play style, keep in mind this is the hardest way to play. What? That magic is the hardest way to play Dark Souls? That's the end? Are you really about to mic drop on magic is the hardest way to play Dark Souls? Oh boy. That's not just a beginner tip. That is a mic drop and a half. Are we not gonna pretend? Wait, are you gonna just... Your entire playstyle revolves around slow magic-based attacks that are their best at range. What? What? Darkbead? Wrath of Gods? What? Great Combustion Fire Whip? Great Chaos Fire Whip? Like the how many spells in this game are not slow long-range spells? What? Hardest way to play Dark Souls is with magic. What? Okay, level with me. Screen Rant, level with me. Did you play Dark Souls? Advanced tips and tricks. This is beginner's tips and tricks. Well, let's rename this to beginner tips and tricks that are just here we go. Let me hold on. I'll fix this for you. Okay, here we go. This should be the actual name of the article. Beginner tips that are just plain okay, rolling backwards is not a detriment. And it doesn't take an advanced player to realize that you can roll in more than one direction. Okay, what matters is not properly rolling is not so much based on direction as it is just the timing. All right, let's get that out of the way. And also, actually having, or if we're gonna talk about tips and tricks, right? Are we not gonna talk about equipment load? Are we not gonna talk about stamina management? And then of all the things we talked about, what we decided to say was magic is the hardest way to play Dark Souls. I don't think, like, of all of the things you could have said, I don't think you could have made a more disagreeable statement than this one. This is just... This is just something. Most players tend to create magic hybrid classes. This is true. And yes, melee magic hybrid is the best way to play Dark Souls. But magic spells as your main focus is nowhere near the hardest way to play Dark Souls at all. Like, Dark Bead is known to like two-shot most bosses. Crystal Soul Spear is broken. You can get Soul Spear as early as Sen's Fortress, right? Like, you don't... Magic is disgusting in Dark Souls. It's actually the easiest way to play the game. That's... You could not have been more wrong here, Screen Rant. You couldn't be more wrong. Okay, so next we're going back to Dark Souls 2, I guess. Every character class explained. So we're gonna like review the classes, your starting classes in Dark Souls 2. Okay. So we're focusing on the general strengths and weaknesses of each class. All right, I'm ready. So what they're saying is this character is good at being a slow tank that uses big strength weapons. That's fair. No, that's fine. Okay, so Knight is a well-rounded class for just playing a non-magic melee builds. That's fine. Is a choice made by highly skilled wait. Swordsman requires a firm grasp of evasive maneuvers found throughout Dark Souls 2. Their weapons are low damage but high speed and require mastery of spacing and positional advantage. Their weapons are low damage but high speed and require a mastery of spacing and positional advantage. So this sentence is one of those sentences that we're gonna use big words to make ourselves sound smart. So what part of either of these weapons require optimal spacing or positional advantage? I'd really like to know, because as far as I know, and I'm not a super expert in Dark Souls 2, right? But I think I know enough about the game. I believe that's the short sword and the scimitar. I could be wrong on the short sword, but I believe that's the short sword and the scimitar. Neither of those weapons have sweet spots. Like, they don't sweet spot or sour spot. So I don't think spacing has anything to do with it. And a positional advantage. Define positional advantage in Dark Souls. Like, that's something I want you to define for me. Do you mean it requires for you to like rotate in the correct direction while you're fighting an enemy? Because that's not something specific to dexterity weapons. That's every weapon in the game requires that. Require mastery of spacing and positional. If anything, a strength build requires better spacing than dex builds do. So I don't know what this sentence is supposed to mean, but I don't know, dude. That just, what is this? The swordsman excels at dexterity weapons and has very average stats and everything else. This places the swordsman in a rather niche situation. He is truly a one-trick. What? Be wary of his playstyle as it prevents players from using shields and forces the swordsman to master the art of dodging to supplement. What? If you pick swordsman, you can still take a shield. And what does, hold on. Okay. These first two sentences are such a contradiction of each other. The swordsman excels at dexterity weapons and has very average stats in everything else. Okay, so if you have average stats in everything, that means you're well-rounded. But your next sentence says that he's truly a one-trick pony. I don't think he is, though. Okay, he starts with 16 dex, which is pretty great, right? He has good endurance. Vigor is a little low. Sure, whatever. So, like, he's got average stats and everything, but, like, a 7 in intelligence and a 9 in strength. Those are not bad at all for a starting class. So, like, he can transition very easily into an intelligence build. So, like, if he has very average stats, how is he a one-trick pony? You're contradicting yourself. That doesn't make sense. If he's very average, how is he a one-trick pony? If he's very average, that means he's a well-rounded character that also excels at dexterity weapons. Okay, the bandit is another character whose strength is rooted in his dexterity. It is dexterity. So why in the other one does it say strength? What? Okay. The bandit is meant to be played as a long-range bow style character rather than an in-your-face. What? But he's got the battle axe, or the hand axe, sorry. He's not to be an in-your-face character. He's got 9 vigor and 11 vitality. That's like, those are tank stats. He has low adaptability. That's low avoidance. If a bandit tries to build a character focused on melee combat, it will certainly be overshadowed. If a bandit tries to build a character focused on melee combat, it will certainly be overshadowed by the swordsman class. How? How is he overshadowed in melee by swordsman? He has higher HP, higher vitality. What about him makes him a worse melee class than swordsman? There's nothing that makes him a worse class than swordsman. If anything, he's a better melee class than swordsman. The strength of the bandit is rooted in his proficiency with bow style weapons. A rare long-range style character who prefer to pick apart enemies from a distance. No! Like, yes, he has a bow that can be utilized. That's super useful. But that doesn't automatically make him a trash melee class. The bandit, if anything, is a great melee class. Average 14, strength dex is at 914. Vitality is at 11, vigor is at 9, endurance is at 7. He's great for melee. What are you talking about? He's an extremely well-rounded melee class. The only real downside to picking bandit is all of your magic stats are pretty much trash, except for the fact that faith is still at an 8. Like, faith is still an 8, which is not bad. Your attunement is garbage, but you still have 8 faith. If anything, the bandit is the most well-rounded class in this entire list. So what makes him rooted in bow style proficiencies? That just is its mediocre melee potential. It can make a decent melee character, not an excellent one. It's got some of the highest melee potential on the list. Its vigor is higher than the warrior class, which you said is supposed to be a melee character. Yet, bandit is a mediocre melee character. Sure, I guess. Clerics within Dark Souls series provide a very interesting playstyle. Faith and strength, okay, that's sure. On one hand, it is equipped with enough faith skills to become a devastating magic user and can be played from a distance. On the other, the cleric's strengths are solid enough to provide a variety of the strongest weapons in the game, which shapes the cleric to be optimally played as a mixture of these two playstyles. Okay, yeah, that's sure. I can agree with this. This is fine. Your assessment of the cleric is fine. Unlike the cleric, the sorcerer utilizes its high intelligence and attunement stats to cast devastating spells from a distance. Wait. Unlike the cleric, the sorcerer utilizes its high intelligence to cast devastating spells from a distance. But if we go back to cleric, on one hand, the cleric is equipped with enough faith skills to become a devastating magic user and can be played from a distance. So which is it? Is sorcerer the counterpart because it can be played from a distance? Or can a cleric be played at a distance? Which one? Again, you're contradicting yourself. What's going on here? You can't have both. That's not... Okay, this is correct. Like, this is fine. So then why did you immediately have to invalidate yourself by saying that the sorcerer, that, oh yeah, you know all that stuff we said about cleric and being able to fight from a distance? Nah, we were just kidding. The sorcerer is actually the guy you play from a distance. The sorcerer, similar to the bandit, excels at long-range combat and using powerful soul arrow to pick apart enemies from a distance. The sorcerer is rather weak, close combat, and must develop high speed and agility. Okay. So I see what you're saying here, but the game, if you're referring exclusively to the starting class, sure, right? But like, sorcerers in Dark Souls 2 have way more melee options than Dark Souls 1, right? Like, in Dark Souls 2, you have spells like Soul Greatsword. You have Soul Vortex, which can be casted at pretty close range. I don't think that a sorcerer is really that. You also have Homing Crystal Soul Mass, which is like a perfect like defense against enemies that try to get close range. So I don't understand what you mean by, like, I get what you're trying to say, but again, you're just kind of not quite right. The thing about sorcerer is it's good at like all ranges, right? Like, sorcery in this game is just really good. I don't know, maybe I'm just... Also, you can also modify the sorcerer to be okay at close combat. Because again, it starts with a dex of 7, which is not bad for developing a dex build. So I don't know... Yikes. Okay, Explorer. The Explorer is the worst class in the game? What? He has no true skills in any department other than a decently average initial stat pool. What does that mean? He has no true skills in any department. Sure, that's where the sentence should end. But then you go on to say, other than a decently average initial stat pool. He comes equipped with a wide variety of items in the early game, but in the long run has no real potential. In what way? Look at these stats. These aren't bad. The lowest stat he has is a 5 in both magic stats. That's not bad. This is like the most well-rounded character you could have, right? This character you could turn into anything. So how is this the worst class in the game? You get so many stats for free, right? And you're base level 10, which is lower than like all of the other classes so far. You're base level 10, like soul level 10. You're well-rounded stats. And look at all of these items you get. You get a free Pharos Lockstone. You get Aromatic Ooze, Witching Urns. You get a free Spell Quartz Ring. And I could be wrong. I think the helmet of this set even gives item discovery. Like, if anything, this should be one of the most powerful classes, not one of the weakest. The only minor side is that you can develop the Explorer to become a decent character by investing a large sum of souls into whichever stat you prefer. On the downside, you could pick whichever character that excels in that build you wish to develop. Okay, but here's the thing, you're yes, but no, right? So the Explorer might be an average class, right? It's like, oh, it's average, so it doesn't excel at any one thing. Fair enough. But the thing is, that means that if you don't know what build you want to start the game with, this is the perfect class. Because it has the most maneuverability early game. So like, depending on item drops, depending on like how the run is going, that can help you determine what run you're going to do. If anything, this is the most powerful class. The Deprived has the lowest stats of the class provided. This may lead to believe that it's the weakest of the selection. However, this assumption is wrong. With its stats all being 6, this allows the player to develop a very particular character that they desire. The Deprived is a highly malleable class with high potential, but a low starting line. Okay, so the reasons that Deprived is good are the reasons why Explorer is the worst class in the game. Is that what I'm hearing? So he starts at all 6s, while Explorer starts with like 4 stats that are all above 7, that are all 7 or above. And these aren't like specific stats to any one character. They're vigor, which is health, adaptability, which is just general survivability, vitality, which is armor, like carry capacity, and attunement, which is spell usage. Like, this character is the most versatile. Like, this character has huge versatility. It is a minor plus side that the explorer can develop into whatever class you prefer. However, but deprived is better than the class that you can develop into anything you want, because the deprived can develop into anything you want. What? That's just Screen Rant level with me. What are you guys talking about? Did you guys actually play these games? Okay, so your beginner's tip for a Dark Souls 2 player is don't die. Your advanced tip for a Dark Souls 1 player is that magic is the worst way to play the game. Of your Dark Souls 2 class rankings, the Explorer is worse than Deprived. Did you play the games? Did you actually play the game? Like, this doesn't... Okay, you have a guide on Calamite. So you played the game, at least Dark Souls 1, fairly extensively. Oh, hi, Double. You played the games fairly extensively. Wait, Calamite has if you land 2 simultaneous attacks on his tail, you can chop off his large whip-like appendage? This is just wrong. What is this? Wait. Okay, what? For the best success against Calamite, simply attack the dragon a few times in short bursts and then move and reposition. The dragon is no harder than any other obstacle in the player's path. Wait, did you say he's a hard... Wait, hold on. Calamite is a challenge even for veterans of the infamous Soul series. He cements himself as one of the most frustratingly difficult boss fights in the franchise. But you also said that the dragon is no harder than any other obstacle in the path. Your entire strategy for beating Calamite is run up to him, hit him, run away. That is your guide. This is okay, all of these paragraphs, that is what all of these paragraphs say, is run up to him, hit him, run away. How does this help? And you wanna know what's funny? Is he not once in this entire article did he ever mention the Calamity. You know, the special attack that he does that's unique to this boss fight that causes you to take double damage? It's not mentioned even once. But what is mentioned is that if you land 2 hits on the tail, Screen Rant, all right? These articles are useless. They don't mean, this is bait. These articles have to be bait, right? Like, somebody is looking for a way to beat Calamite, and they're gonna read this article, and they're just gonna think this is garbage. Like, and this isn't an old article. This is written in 2020. What are you doing? This just, I just don't understand. I didn't think that you could be so wrong about Dark Souls. How did you manage this? Screen Rant, just stop.